FM. I'm Evan Wren, and this is the Countdown to Two-A-Days series, our daily look at an area football team and the key questions we'll be answering about that team in our August 20th preseason preview here at Big Country Preps. I'm with my partner, Dan Youngblood, via Zoom. And Dan, this is it. This is the last of our countdowns for 2025. Monday brings on two-a-days.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Abilene Eagles this evening, and this will be the last of our countdowns for this year.
Yeah, and this is an Abilene High team that has really taken a step forward the last couple of years and kind of reached a new level under Coach Fullen, and it's been fun to watch. And I think this year is going to be similar. They went 8-4 last year, and they return a good group from that team. 37 Lettermen are back. Only lost 27, which for a 5A program isn't a huge number. Six offensive starters, nine defensive starters are back. So this is a team that has experience, and I'm sure the expectations are going to be very high this year, and it's going to be fun to see if they can achieve those. Obviously, they're going to have some questions to answer if they do hope to do that, and we'll talk about some of the biggest of those here in just a few minutes.
Right. And before we do that, we want to remind you folks to please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. It is free. And then after that, please hit that little bell and you'll get notifications each and every time that we post a video there. With that, Dan, the key questions about the Abilene Eagles, go ahead and fire away first.
My first one is, can this offense be as good as last year's was, which is a tall order. This is a team that scored 573 points in 12 games last year. It could put up points in a hurry, and they've got some really nice pieces back. Braden Henry, maybe the most explosive athlete in all of the big country. He is back after being injured last year, late in the season. Lost for the season there toward the end, but he's back and he's a huge, huge weapon. And they play that really interesting two quarterback system where Tristan Beal, who was a sophomore last year, really established himself as kind of the more prototypical pocket passer of the two. So you're going to have to really stop those two to stop them. And then they had a 1,000-yard rusher and Ethan Joyner back as well. They're going to have to replace a couple of big receivers. Ryland Bradford had a monster year. He's off to the D1 ranks at UTEP. He's a really, really good player. They're going to have to find a way to replace him. And then Bryson Perez also had a really nice year as a senior. He's off to Hardin Simmons. So the receiver position, there's going to be a couple of holes to fill in terms of playmaking. And on the lines, they'll have a couple of spots to fill. But I think if this offense can be anywhere close to last year's, they're going to be a tough team to beat.
All right. Defensively, I think this is, I mean, we've grown accustomed to Abilene playing well defensively. And last year they kind of went through a season where they were, very young, inexperienced, and that sort of thing. But you know what? Once you put that investment in with a young group, the good news is they're all coming back the next year, more mature, bigger, faster, stronger. And guess what? That's the case with Abilene this year with nine defensive starters coming back, including some players that are, of a quality, a big country preps quality. They have linebacker Skylar Famoa. He's back. They've got linebacker Trey Shaw. He is back. What a set of linebackers too, with Levon Kuntz coming back. They're loaded, and they're good in the secondary as well. Levon Kuntz is coming back as well, back in the secondary. One player after another with experience, and again, more physically mature this time around. They're still running that 3-4, which I think they've been running that since what, the Civil War,
Yeah,
or
forever.
thereabouts. But they're in a familiar system that the kids know, and they're going to have the weapons this year to really make that defense something to reckon with. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. They did struggle a little bit. I think they gave up right over 30 points a game last year with a defense that was very, very young. But that unit did get better as the year went on. And that's one thing I had that same conversation with Coach Fullen many times last year about how all this will pay off eventually. They had a bunch of freshmen and sophomores in their secondary last year, and he's like, the work they're putting in now will pay off, and I think this year is when that starts. So I agree wholeheartedly. My last question is on the offensive line. This is they're going to be really good interior in the interior. They returned all three of their interior linemen, and that's a good place to start. They will have to replace both of their tackles, so that's going to be interesting to see, in my opinion. Uh, but again, a good place to start. They got Jim Boema back at one of the guard positions. Rylan Esparza's back. He would played center last year. Efrain Hernandez is back, another offensive lineman. So they've got those interior guys pretty much set, and that's a good place to start. But they do have a couple of big holes on the exterior of their offensive line, where they lost Shatande Popol and Jared Turner, who were both guys that were at least part-time starters for 3 years. I mean, these guys were big-time players for them. So that's the only thing I'm going to be interested to see. I think their line will be good again this year, but you do have to replace two all-district type really college level athletes at those tackle positions. So that's going to be an interesting thing to follow as well. And that's one thing I'm interested to see how that plays out.
All right, we're going to be taking a look at Abilene's schedule for 2025, but before we do that, we need to thank a few of our sponsors. Beginning with For the Love of the Game Broadcasting and our old friend Terry Slavens, owner of K-Lakes 93.5 FM out of Brackenridge, 97.7 FM KATX out of Eastland, Classic Country AM 1330 out of Graham, 94.7 FM KWKQ out of Graham, KROO 1430 AM out of Breck, and KWBY 98.5 FM out of Ranger. That is For the Love of the Game Broadcasting. Also, Rob Durham, sales consultant at Bear Chevrolet Buick Cadillac up in Breckenridge. If you're in the market for a new vehicle or a used vehicle, call Rob. He's one of the nicest guys you'll ever want to meet. Give him a shout at 254 559 2266. That's Rob Durham up at Bear Chevrolet Buick Cadillac in Breckenridge. And finally, Cavalry Resources and Construction, located up in Breckenridge, serving the entire big country, offering custom standing seam roofing made on location and all commercial roofing applications. Give Kobe Walker a shout at 254 246 5546. That is Cavalry Resources and Construction in Breckenridge. All right, we're going to be taking a look at the 2025 Abilene High School football schedule. We'll start in the non district portion. August 29th, we'll begin things with San Angelo Central at home. Then, of course, the big rivalry game at Shotwell Stadium with Cooper will follow on September the 5th. A home date with Odessa Permian will follow on September the 12th. And then Midland Legacy, formerly known as Midland Lee, on the road on September the 19th. And then you head into district.
Yeah, it should be a fun non-district schedule with three of those games in Abilene, and then they kick off district right off the bat, September 26th at Amarillo Caprock, before coming home to play Amarillo High on October 3rd. They then travel to Lubbock Coronado on October 9th, host Lubbock High on October 17th, travel to Amarillo Tascosa on October 24th. And then on Halloween night, they wrap up their regular season with a home date against last year's number one seed out of this district, Lubbock Monterey. This is an interesting schedule for them that they've had for several years because they have that open date in week 11. So if they make the playoffs, that's a really good deal for them. But they get no breaks during the regular season. It's all gas.
All right. Game of the year or games of the year. The most important contest of the season for Abilene, as you see it, Dan. What is it?
I think it'll be those last two regular season dates. At Amarillo Tascosa, that was a team that really came on late in the season, made a really nice playoff run, and that's another one of those teams that's been running the same system for a very long time, and they just get better in it. So that's going to be a tough game. And then Lubbock Monterey was the surprise team last year. I don't think many expected them to be winning a district championship, and they ended up beating Abilene High the last week of the season last year to take the top seed. So to me, those are the two big ones. I think if Abilene High has gotten to a point as a program where they're expecting to compete for a district championship most years. I think this year is no exception, and I think if they want to do that, those are the two games that kind of jump out off the screen to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would especially take that first one with Tascosa, though. If you win that one, you're even better. You're in better shape, depending on how Monterey does. But yeah, those final two games are huge. That road date, if they can win at Tascosa, I think they're going to be sitting pretty.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. And then Amarillo High will be good as well. That's always a tough one, and that's kind of early in the district schedule. But I think those last two are the ones that'll really decide kind of where they end up seated in the playoffs.
All right, and that just about wraps things up for this edition of the Countdown to Two-A-Day series, the Abilene Eagles, our final in this year's countdowns. Two-A-Days begin tomorrow. Before we take off, though, we want to remind you August 20th is the big day here at Big Country Preps. That's the day that we release our annual preseason football preview here on the website. That is the most comprehensive look at Big Country high school football of any media source, either here in the Big Country or statewide for that matter.
Yeah, and again, that's August 20th. Make sure you are on the site for that. You will not want to miss it. In the meantime, thank you again for joining us for this episode of our Countdown to Two-A-Day series and for joining us throughout our Countdown to Two-A-Day series. We appreciate you're following our preseason coverage, and we encourage you to follow our coverage throughout the season. We've got that big preview coming out. You're not going to want to miss it, but you are going to find all sorts of coverage throughout the season again that you will not want to miss. So make sure you're checking into Big Country Preps, and you're going to be we'll have you covered all throughout the football season.